Welcome. We'll get started shortly. Before we begin, here's how to earn continuing professional education credit for attending this session. There are no polling questions or attendance checks. Instead, you will demonstrate your knowledge by taking a brief multiple-choice quiz using the Earmark app. Visit earmark.app in your web browser. You can also download the mobile app by scanning the QR code on the screen. Log in, or if you're new, create your free account. Be sure to use a valid email address because that's where we'll send your course completion certificates. From the home screen, scroll down to find the course. You can also tap the magnifying glass icon to search for the course. Tap on the course artwork, then the Enroll button. On the Course tab, you'll find the recording and quiz questions. Complete the quiz to earn your CPE certificate. It takes us a few days to create the course on the app, so if you are attending this session live, please wait a few days. We'll email you a link to the course when it is ready. If you have questions or need help, email us at support@earmarkcpe.com. And now, on to the event. Buckle up, accountants. It's time for another Earmark Expo where we're taking the latest accounting tech for a test drive. Here's how it works. We're about to floor it with a live demo of a game-changing app. David and I are in the driver's seat. I'm Blake Oliver. And we're going to be putting this app through its paces and asking the tough questions every accountant wants to know the answers to, and you're along for the ride. We want you, our live audience, to help us navigate. Ask your own questions in the chat, and we'll highlight them for Tim to answer. This is your chance to see cutting-edge accounting tech in action, get your questions answered in real time, and gain insights that could transform your practice. So take a seat, and let's roll with today's Earmark Expo.
So Blake, when I was at Intuit building out the QuickBooks App Store, every so often I would come across an accountant or a CPA that created their own app. And so today's Expo, we have a CPA that was driven by the hate of his old desktop-based practice management system to create a brand new cloud-based system called Mango Practice Management. So that's where we're at now. Blake, when you had your firm, did they even have cloud-based practice management then, or did you have to use a desktop-based one back in the day? Even though you had a cloud firm, it was early days.
It was early days. There wasn't much in the way of practice management software. It was desktop-based, and we ended up hacking together our own practice management software, but it wasn't using software designed for accounting firms. It was like general purpose workflow task management software. So we were missing a lot of the features that are available now, which is why I'm excited to talk to Tim today, because we're going to see Mango. And, this is practice management software, right, designed for accountants. Tim, welcome.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
So, yeah, I want to hear more about that experience David mentioned. You had your own practice, or what inspired you to do Mango?
I've been practicing for 38 years now, and going way back in the day, there just wasn't a lot of software available to manage a practice. I just wasn't happy with what was out there. I think I've tried pretty much all of them that were around back in the day. So with my passion for developing, I struck out, started developing my own application to manage my own practice. My practice had grown through the years, and the app has grown through the years as well. Went from a DOS-based app to a Windows desktop app to now in the cloud, well over 8 years now. So it's been quite a journey.
Wow, all the way from DOS to Windows to cloud. That's incredible.
3 iterations.
How long have you been doing this?
38 years. I started developing right around when Microsoft was born, so to speak. So back in the DOS days. Yeah.
And what kind of firms are using Mango Practice Management?
It's a wide variety. We have a lot of sole practitioners all the way to, 5 to 10. We have some very large firms, well over 50. We even have some over 100. We do have some enterprise features built into the application. So it's a wide variety of firms.
Well, I'd love to take a look at this. Should we dive into the demo, or is there anything else you'd like to share before we do that?
No, I think we got it. We'll go ahead and do a dive in and see what this is all about. Right now I'm going to go ahead and start with some of the high level features of the platform. What does the platform offer? What can the platform do for your firm to help manage your practice better? Right here, these are the features. The core primary features are time tracking, invoicing. We have electronic payments built into the application to help you collect faster, make it convenient for your clients to pay you, which we're going to go through that in detail so we can see how easy that is to use. We do have what we call project management, which helps you manage your due dates, workflow, who's doing what within your firm. This is great for even sole practitioners. I mean, I've talked to a lot of sole practitioners through the years that, they're doing 200, 300, 400 tax returns. It helps them manage those due dates, those tax returns, which I'm going to show you how great of a feature that is, so you can really monitor what you have in your office, when you would like to get it out, set expectations for yourself and your clients. We do have an engagement letter piece, which is a new feature we added about a year and a half ago, which is very, very nice for generating engagement letters for your clients, emailing them out to your client, getting them signed electronically. You can collect a payment with those engagement letters. You can also even set up recurring payment schedules with those engagement letters. So that's very, very nice. Some other features, we do have budgeting. A lot of larger firms like to bake in budgeting on their engagements with their clients. It can go all the way down to the project level, all the way down to the task level. You can put budgets that far down in the process. And with budgeting, we have this new feature called capacity planning. So if you want to manage your staff better within your office as to what capacity hours they have budgeted, you now have that feature. You can easily reassign tasks to different members within the firm. If somebody's out, they leave the firm, it's very, very easy to reassign tasks. Reporting, a lot of people, we talk to a lot of CPA firms. They've been using QuickBooks, for example, to manage their firm, to do their invoicing, cash collections. We found that people that have come over to Mango, they found our reporting to be superior. Invoicing is a lot easier, and just a lot of things in the platform to help you manage your practice better. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at what the application looks like. And where I like to start is with time tracking, because most firms are tracking time. It's a daily function of your staff. So we have different ways to get time into the system. This is what we call a timesheet entry. It's day focused, so it's going to primarily focus on today. And the idea is to build up your timesheet for all the hours that you've worked in the day, whether it's to a client. If you want to track it to admin, so unbillable time, you could put it there as well to account for all your time in a given day. So to put a time record in, very simple, pop up the dialog, start typing any part of your client name. It will automatically bring in whatever engagements you have set up for that client. So let's say I'm working on their 1065. You start typing any part of the activity. I'm doing tax planning or tax prep. We do support billing increments. So if I put in my actual hours, it will increment to a 6-minute, 10-minute, or quarter hour. You can modify your descriptions. We have a lot of shortcuts you can use to automatically insert text in to standardize your time entries if you want to do that. But basically you save and close, and there's your time entry. So very, very easy to get time into the system. Very easy for staff to visually see their time. We also have timers. So I've set up 2 automatically here. You can have as many timers as you want. You can save these timers individually. You can edit these timers if you forgot to start it. And if I want to commit all these timers, say I'm at the end of the day, for example, I'm done working, I'm bouncing back and forth maybe between clients and what I'm doing, I could just do save all, and I could commit all these timers to my timesheet. So there they are. So you'll see your actual hours versus your billable time. So,
and Tim, can you edit this in the table, or do you have to pull up the record first to edit?
You can do inline editing. So you can, edit inline if you want to change the descriptions, but if you want to just bring the dialogue up, very easy to make changes and edits here as well. So we do allow some editing inline right within the table. That's a very good question. So
yeah, it's like accountants love spreadsheets. Like they love tables. I tell this all the time. Make your app look like a spreadsheet. They love Excel.
Very visual. Yeah, very visual, David. Correct. We are used to spreadsheets. That's right. But here, yeah, so good point. If I'm doing some additional work for this client, or I want to update my memo, my work description, I can do that right in line. And then you can just commit that. We do support expense entry as well. Now, what's unique about Mango is your expenses can be billable to your client. They can also be reimbursable to your staff. And we do have a nice expense manager that you can keep track to see what was reimbursed. So, for example, if David had gone out to a client, he wanted to put some expenses in, he wanted to drag and drop the receipt into the expense record, you could drag and drop that. So now you have a record of that. And maybe this is going to be reimbursable. So I need to reimburse David for his mileage, for example, that he went out to a client. So very, very nice features. These expenses pull in when you're doing your billing, which we'll go through when we're doing billing. So we've gone through timesheet entry. We've gone through easily being able to add timers. We have another nice feature for large firms. Maybe they're doing audits, for example, and they're out at a client multiple days. So to get a time record in here, I could just add in my 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. And I've just added 3 time records into the system. If I want to update my description, I can put whatever description I want in here for my work, and I can even put in a private memo. So very, very nice there. So that's time tracking. Staff love it. It's very easy. Learning curves, very, very small to learn how to use time entry. Now you want to invoice your client. So what I want to emphasize here is that when you're looking at a practice management solution, some of the core features are tracking time, invoicing, getting your invoices out to your clients easily, and obviously getting paid. I mean, those are really the core things that you're doing daily within your firm. We're going to go through some of these other features here, the project management, reporting, et cetera, but let's go through invoicing. So you've done a tax return, and I just want to do a quick invoice to get that invoice to the client. I'm just going to bring up the client's time. A lot of features here on this screen, a lot of functionality. I can change invoice templates to detail or narrative style. We have various narrative style, various detail. You can put terms in if you want. They can come in default from the client. But the great thing here is we are building the invoice for you based on all these engagements. But if I don't want to invoice for all these engagements that I have open time for, I can uncheck these. We're going to take them right off the invoice for you. So very, very easy. This is all the time. This happens to be a fixed fee engagement. So we support both fixed fee and hourly. I can drill in and I can look at that time. I can see all my staff time records. If time was recorded incorrectly to the engagement of the client, I can easily move that time between client engagements and or a different client. So very, very nice there. But the idea here,
you can do it in bulk too. I saw
you can do it in bulk, which is very nice. Very nice. We found when we showcase that feature on demos, most CPA firms love that feature because notoriously staff record time to the wrong engagement or wrong client.
And now I don't have to leave the invoice process, go to a different part of the app, fix the time, come back, start the invoice process over again. I just fix it right there. That's great.
A lot of functionality right here. While you're invoicing, very nice to have the invoice history at your fingertips. So I can quickly see, what did I invoice last year for this tax return? You have that information right here at your fingertips. So the idea is to be able to quickly get this in. You've done the tax work, you've done the tax return. I want to get the invoice to the client. Now, obviously I'm doing a lot of talking, explaining, but you literally can do this in seconds. But even though this is a fixed fee engagement, I can come out here and change this invoice amount to $40,000. And what's nice is you're going to see your write-up or your write-down front and center. So very visual. You can see if you're losing money on this engagement, or obviously if I record more here for the invoice amount, you'll see the write-up. So once you have your invoice done, another nice feature, I want to point this out because a lot of tax firms do use this feature, is maybe the client's sitting in front of you, maybe not, But as we all know, when we're doing tax returns, we're doing direct deposit, we have the client's bank information. If you built it into your engagement letter, you can process your payment right here. So if I select ACH, I can come out here and process an ACH payment right away for that client. Very, very nice feature.
I saw you have quite a few payment options there on the screen. What are all the different options for getting paid?
Yeah, we have a lot of default payment options. So I'm over here in cash receipts now. And if I call the client up again, all these default, and then you can add additional. A lot of people are using Zelle, Venmo, other payment options. So you can add your other payment types as you want, but the first 5 or 6 are reserved all the way down through credit memo.
So when you add like Zelle as an option, does that put a link on the invoice? How does that work?
No, unfortunately, no. You would process that independently, and then you would come in and put that cash receipt in that you've collected.
Okay, got it.
Against the invoice, but no integration with Zelle. So let me go back through here. On the invoicing, no matter how you invoice, manual, recurring invoice for those recurring type engagements, we have batch invoicing, retainer invoicing, or progress billing. Everything is going to go to invoice review. So for example, this is where a reviewer would review these invoices, and then this is the final resting place to where you deliver or finalize these invoices. They can be email, printed, or just recorded. If I go to finalize these two will get emailed out, and then this invoice will get printed to be mailed out. So this is a very, very nice area. Now let me go back to this client and show you real quick without a lot of talking how quick and easy it is to get this invoice out the door. So I'm going to come through. I just want to bill for the 1065. Uncheck that and say I want to invoice $45,000. That's a very expensive tax return. And there's my write up and write down. I just do a save and go straight to invoice review. It's going to take me right to invoice review. There's the invoice. I would click this, finalize, and that invoice is done, going to be emailed out to the client. Now, when your client receives this invoice, we have some very nice electronic payment features built into the application. There'll be a nice click to pay button in the invoice. So this is what your client, let's go back to see what the client will see. So when I go to, this is the client area, and this is a 360 view of everything that's going on with the client. If I go to the email log, which I don't happen to have one here, let me go to another client. This is what your client will see when they receive the invoice. So this summarizes the invoice, the amount. They just simply click to pay. Now, what's nice about this feature? The client does not have to log into a client portal to make a payment. They can simply click to pay. If they've entered their payment information before, credit card or ACH, it's going to display the last 4, and they just say, yes, go ahead and pay it. So very, very convenient, easy for clients to make payments. And this is what it looks like when they click that click to pay. They're going to come in here, say they want to pay by ACH. Let me see here, credit card. Here's where they would put in their credit card information and pay now. Now, if this particular client had credit card information in there previously, it would have just showed the last 4, and they would not have had to enter that before. I think I have some ACH information in here. Maybe, no, I don't. So that all that information would have to be entered. But the idea here is that, you do your invoicing, very easy to get it out to your client. Let me show you one other feature we have, which we call batch invoicing. Very, very nice to get all your time, maybe mid-month, end of the month when you're doing your billing. So this is the whole universe of your WIP here. I have $66,000 worth of open time, but I want to filter this, and I only want my accounting engagements. Okay. Now we do support locations. You can get it by a billing partner. I can get it by a billing group, client group. So you can get your time records basically in for billing any way you want to. So I'm going to go down here and click fetch. And now what I have here is all clients that have time associated with the accounting engagement. It's a very, very useful way to get your invoices out quickly. And you can come in here and make your edits to the invoice. So you can quickly see your write up and write down. Anything that's a fixed fee, you will see the write down or the write up against your actual time. So very nice.
And this would be just when you filter this down, you're sending invoices just for the accounting services, not any other services.
Just for the accounting services. That's
Understand.
correct. And some other useful things in here is I can drill in and I can see the time and expenses that I'm going to be invoicing for. So you have all that same functionality as you did in manual invoicing. And I can easily see the invoice history and the payment history. So a lot of good features in here to really, speed up the process of getting your invoices out the door and getting paid faster. So again, the idea here is you just go down through your list and you can make whatever changes you want. And when you're done, you process your invoices and they'll all stage up an invoice review to be delivered to your client. So very, very nice. Firms that, again, every firm is different. Tax firms are going to do one-off invoicing. Some of your bookkeeping, accounting firms will come in here and use batch invoicing. They use a combination of all these invoices. If I want to request a payment from a new client, for example, I can get this from an invoice. I can also get it from an engagement letter. So when I send the engagement letter to David, for example, I can request a one-time payment. When David accepts that engagement letter, that credit and puts in his payment information, that payment is going to show up as a credit automatically on David's account. So very, very nice features here. Very streamlined for, how your firm invoices, how your firm works with the clients. We even have a feature here, which is useful: apply time to invoices after the fact. So if I'm on the phone with David and he doesn't understand passive losses, I spend 30 minutes on the phone explaining passive losses. I can track that time and I can apply that time to the invoice after the fact. Mango will automatically do the write-up and the write-down, make whatever adjustments it needs to that invoice. So a nice way to, track all your time and either have your time out there to invoice in the future or apply it to an existing invoice, which is nice.
Got it. So that would be, I've already delivered the return. I've invoiced for it. I don't want to charge more for this 30-minute call to explain it. So I'm just going to apply it to that invoice and it adjusts my write-up.
Exactly.
Or write-down.
Exactly. Yeah, very, very. It's nice. I mean, it happens quite a bit. I mean, you've done the invoice. You have a couple of options there. You can tell the client, "Hey, I just spent an hour with you. I need to send you an invoice for another hour's worth of time." That normally doesn't happen. Or you can apply to the invoice that you've already sent them, and your realization rate's probably going to go down a little bit. Or you just keep it out in open time for a future invoice and apply it to a future invoice. So, or some firms may not track the time, but if you're really a good time tracker, you really want to track that time.
Yep.
So yeah, a lot of good features with time tracking, invoicing. As far as cash collections and getting paid, let me talk about now some of the features that we have with our electronic payments. So our integration there is very, very good. So we have electronic payments built into engagement letters. You can do an engagement letter with a no payment request. I just want to spell out the terms of the engagement. Let me pop over here while we're talking about engagements. So I can create, batch proposals or engagements. I can create a one-off, and these can be done. We have all the templates that we provide for services and terms. You can create your own, cut and paste your own in. But the idea here is to streamline the process of getting the engagement letters out to your clients, efficiently as possible. So here you'll see what's in draft state, what's ready to be emailed, what's been sent to your client. We know what's been opened by your client, and then we know what's been signed by your client. So like I mentioned, your engagement letters can be a no payment request. I just want to get the engagement letter to the client and signed. I may want to request a one-time payment. When your client accepts that engagement, part of the acceptance is they have to enter their payment terms. That payment will come back to the client account as a credit automatically with our integration. If you're onboarding an accounting client, for example, on acceptance, I might want to have a recurring payment schedule. David's a new client. He's going to agree to have his account debited on the 10th of the month. He's agreeing to the terms of the engagement for the accounting. It could be a multiple engagement, accounting and payroll. What Mango does on acceptance with that scenario is it will automatically come in and create the recurring invoice. Now, this is a recurring invoice. It's going to happen whatever recurrence you want, monthly, quarterly, and it has a payment schedule attached with it. So this is a very, very nice feature that a lot of firms use for recurring type of engagements. What happens is Mango will go collect that money automatically, 10th of the month, 15th of the month. Upon acceptance of that payment, we'll come in and create the invoice. We'll associate the payment with the invoice. We'll even release time for whatever engagements that the time is against on that recurring invoice. So this is really invoicing on autopilot. It's very automated. So we have some firms that have 100 or more of these set up. They don't even have to come in and do the invoicing. It does it automatically. So
can you show an example of how you make an engagement that's going to require recurring charges?
Well, what you would do is come in, create a new proposal, and then you go through the setup wizard. And when you get over here to your payment section, let me see if I can get over here. So I might have to put in some information here real quick. So you would go ahead and add, this is accounting. It's recurring monthly. And what's your service? It could be, maybe I'm doing some QuickBooks cleanup, QuickBooks training, whatever it might be, a fixed fee. It could be, hourly, a unit price, whatever. Let me go ahead and save. It's going to ask me for the engagement. And I don't have an engagement set up for this one. But the idea here is when you get over to the payments, here's where you set up, it's monthly recurring. When you send this engagement out to your client and they accept it, they're also agreeing to the payment terms. Now, we know the engagement that this engagement letter is for. So when we go back to recurring invoicing, it's going to set that recurring invoice up with these billing amounts. So this is $600. The value of this engagement is $7,200. So this would be $600 per month, billed monthly. Is how that would work.
Got it.
So further for electronic payments, so we have it built into invoicing. So any invoices that go out to your client, there's a click to pay feature. Any statements that go out to your clients. Now we have two ways to get statements out to your clients. We bring in anything that has an invoice that's outside the terms. Any one invoice that's outside the terms is a candidate for a statement. Now, if you want to just show all customers with balances regardless of terms, you could do that as well. If you just want to do a one-off statement to your client, if I wanted to get two of them out, I could say process, and these statements will get emailed out to your client with a PDF of the statement attached. And then there's a click to pay option where they could full pay or partially pay that statement. Now, we have electronic payments built in with the statements, like I said, but we go even further. I'd like to point out this feature. In our settings here, under invoices, we have this enable statement reminders automatically. So now you don't even have to generate these statements. Mango will go do these statements automatically. In the middle of the night, any client that has an invoice outside the terms automatically gets emailed a statement. And if I sent this to David and he didn't make a payment in 5 days, we're going to send him another statement in another email in 5 days. So you can nag as much as you want to with your clients, and you can set this interval to 15 days. So if a payment's not made, a new email will go to that client to remind them to make a payment.
And it looks like the click to pay buttons, you give options. A different button could appear on an invoice than what could appear on a statement. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, very good eye, David. Very good eye. Yeah, we do give you options. So we have this click to pay. We also have a legacy client portal to where back in the day, the clients would log into the portal, which I've actually have this rate conveniently loaded so you can actually see what that looks like. So clients could make payments in the portal. They can pay one or more invoices. So yeah, very good eye, David. I mean, here you can present an invoice history to your clients and how they made a payment. You can see how payments were applied, or clients can go and see their payment history and they can see how payments were applied to what invoice. Now, most people really just use the click to pay only. That's why I have that selected, click to pay only. They really, it's a lot of friction for clients to have to log into a client portal. They forget their password. They just click it, they redirect it, and they pay it. And it's very, very simple for clients. Now, if you're not using electronic payments, you can still email out your invoices. There's just no payment button. So you would select that option if you're not using our electronic payments. So you could use both if you want. You want both buttons, the client portal and click to pay, you can provide both buttons in the email. Some of the other features for electronic payments, other than all the invoicing, you can process any electronic payments, in the application. So if a client has made a payment previously, you don't have to get their credit card information or the ACH information again. That's all going to be stored. I could go process an ACH very quickly inside of Mango, just like that. We'll show you the last four of the bank, process a payment. So it's that easy to process electronic payments inside of Mango as well. So those are the core features that we've covered very quickly. The time tracking, the invoicing, and getting paid. Those are really, the core features and the platform. Let's jump over to project management. So we all have due dates. We all have workflows. We have to keep track of what's in our firm. How soon do we need to get it out? What's the due date and who's doing what? So let's look at how Mango streamlines that process. So this is our project management dashboard, and we have two views: the project view, which shows you the projects that are due this week, next week, what's overdue, and you have all these tags, and these are all hyperlinks. I can click on any one of these, and it's going to go grab that information for me. So this is the project view for Tim. I can see the whole firm at a high level. I can see everything that's in the firm, everything that's available for work in the firm, which is very nice. Another view we have is the tasks. So what tasks are actually due this week? The tax return preparation, reviewing the tax return, which we'll go through a couple of these. So let me go back to...
Tim, can you quickly explain the difference between a project and a task?
Yeah, let me jump in there and I'm going to show you that. So I have one project that I'm missing information on. So I'm going to click that link there, and it's going to bring that project up for me. And here's all the tags front and center, which you can hover over and see what these tags are for. If I could hover correctly, I could see where I'm at. So these are the tasks, David. This is the workflow to complete a tax return. These are totally customizable, and we do have some pre-canned templates as well. But so right now I'm at step 3, the tax preparation. So these are the tasks to complete the project. Now let's jump in and look at what a project looks like. So, and we have a unique feature here, which I want to showcase. It's this due date is 6/15 of the tax return. We got it in on 5/2. We'd like to turn it around in 20 days. So now we have an internal due date of 5/22. Now, what is unique about this? Well, this due date will start showing up on the dashboard now as the week of May 22nd. So now the due dates are going to show up ahead of the actual due date. I mean, we all know we have a lot of returns due 4/15, et cetera. We don't want everything showing up on the dashboard the week of April 15th. We want to track it through the firm. When did we receive it in? When do we want to get it out? If the firm policy is 5 days, now we need to get this out the door by 5/7, the internal due date. And if you're missing information, you can come down here, change the expectation, notify the client, add or remove tags easily up here. So you could just quickly, add, I'm missing information and I'm waiting on the client. So I've just added 2 tags. So this is the project and the due date of the actual project. And if you notice, this feature, complete task in order, has a very nice feature. And that is, I can't review the tax return until I've done the tax prep. So it doesn't allow anything to be completed other than step 3. So what that does is allow the staff within your firm to focus on what is in the batter's box, not what's on bat or on, in the dugout or on deck or whatever. It's really focusing on what I need to get done now. And if there's any special instructions, you can add those notes out here, and they will live with this project as it rolls forward. So very, very nice. If somebody else is doing the tax prep next year, maybe this is a round robin, you're assigning tax returns as they come in. The tax preparer can come in here and easily see any special notes about a rental property, about a Schedule C or whatever it might be. You can add those notes in here. Now, if you don't want to complete the task in order, you can just simply uncheck that, and now any task can be completed in any order. Most firms, with the way CPA firms operate, things typically have to be done in a certain order. For even audits, things may or may not. They may be able to be done in different orders, but most time things have to be done in order. Now, what feature this gives you as well? But before I go over there, you can add notes, and you can email internally, or you can email directly to the client from here. So if you're missing information, you need documents, you can fire off an email directly out to your client. Now, another tool that this is great for is IRS resolution. You can attach documents to this project, so they will live with this project in our document management system. We automatically create a folder for this Form 1040 for 2024, and any documents that were uploaded and associated with this project will be there. One thing I want to show you here, one last thing on project management is this is what we call a list of the projects and the tasks. So, again, here I can quickly see, where I'm at on this project. And if I want to, most staff within a firm will live on this task here. So going back to completing task in order, if I only want to filter out and get, what's assigned to me, it's only going to go out there and get everything that's assigned to me. And here's what I'm focusing on, what I need to work on, what's in the batter's box, not what's on deck, not what's in the dugout. I can complete those from here. That's done. Now, see, it brought up 5 because I was assigned to step 5. But what it does is just allowing you to focus on what needs to be done. If you want to show all, we give you the option to show all open, but it's defaulting to show tasks that are ready to work on. So very nice there. We found that, a lot of firms that come on board with Mango, they might be using a third party practice management type practice management tool. They come in here and they've got everything in one spot. We've tried to become like an all-in-one type solution. You could do your engagement letters in here.
I really like that. Sorry to interrupt, Jim. I really like that concept of showing people what's ready to be worked on, because sometimes even in our own company, we have a task management, and sometimes we show people all the tasks they have to do for the weeks and weeks out, not just what they can work on right now. And I really like having a view like that. That's smart.
Yeah, we give you 2 options there. If you want to just keep the focus on what's ready to work, you can. But if you do want to see all, we do give you that option as well. So, navigation, it's very, very easy. I mean, if you want to get to a specific, client, you just type in, up here and anything that has, this, I have, let me just type in Brian here. Let me see if it'll narrow the list down for Brian. Yeah. So you can get to what you need to get to easily and quickly just by this little search by box. I mean, we do have some filtering up here, but to get to things, if I want to get to Alex, I could just start typing Alex and it's going to narrow the list down for Alex. If I want to go right into the project, I can go right into the project. Add notes easily. So very, very user-friendly. Couple other things to note. As you are working here, there's templates that we were talking about, workflows that, we do have a master template library. You can bring them in, but you can set up your own as well. Let me go back over here, close this. I just got a freeze up there. One moment here. What I want to showcase here was all the notifications that we have built into our project management. David, are you seeing that?
Yeah, the demo gods are working against you right now.
Yeah, they are.
Well,
Let me go
we're
ahead and
waiting for that to load. I actually have a question. When you have these templates built in, can accountants share those with, maybe they have another friend, another firm, and can they swap templates, or is it just the templates are in your app and that's it? Or in
Yeah,
your
they're
instance of the app?
yeah, they're well, they are, if they're using Mango, like I mentioned, we do have the master template library that's available to everybody. So you can pull in the templates down, and I don't know why this is not cooperating with me. The demo gods are working against me. Let me go ahead and type it manually. But you can pull anybody that's using Mango initially when they come out of the gate. They're going to go to that master template library. They're going to pull down into the firm library the templates, and then they can modify them as they want. And that's all done in the project management settings, where you would edit the templates. And then down here, which I wanted to point out, was all the email notifications we have built in. So, and these can be used in a lot of different ways. Notify when a task is assigned. It's useful when things are round robin. You have a project manager, and I'm really having some issues here. But you have all these notifications here, and then notifications when projects go beyond the due date or number of days before the due date, which is very nice. I'm getting a lockup here, David, which is not good.
If you need to close that browser session and reopen it, we can reshare the screen if you need to.
All right, let me go ahead.
Let's go ahead and remove it and just restart that browser.
Okay. That's what I'm doing.
Up.
That's what I'm doing here.
In the meantime, let's talk about pricing. You know, how much does this cost? There's a lot of practice management solutions out there, a lot of different ways of pricing for this. How do you do it?
Let me flip over to the website here in a moment. And, you know, I might be having an internet issue here, David, which is not the most.
Here's what I can do is I can pull up the Mango website on my end.
Okay.
I'll work on that right now. Let's see. Oh, I don't want to log in. I just want to go to the
mangopractice.com.
mangopractice.com website. Okay, I've got that going in. I'll share my screen here. There we go. So I've got the website up now. Tell me where to go, Tim.
Should see pricing right there on the top.
There it is.
And we have 3 tiers.
So you've got basic, plus, and pro, all per user per month.
Mm-hmm. So when you go to tier 1, you get everything that we've, kind of covered, but tier 2 will give you the practice management. Let me go ahead and get, share my screen again here.
Okay. That hotel Wi-Fi can be unpredictable.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
At least we didn't lose you. You're still connected.
Yeah.
You, so.
Yeah. All right. Let me pull this down. Share, present. Okay. You guys should see my screen again, right?
Yeah. I'm going to add it to the stage. There we go. We're back.
Yep. And I've got the pricing right here. So as we were talking about, there's your basic, which you get a lot of features with your basic. What you're getting different with the plus is the project management tool and budgeting you get, and some other automations down here. When you go up to the pro, you'll get all of our document management features, e-signatures. You'll get capacity planning, which is an add-on to the project management. And that's $69 per month per user.
And then what are your fees for the payment services to get paid, the ACH fees if they pay with credit card? What are those?
Good question. So ACH is 1%, caps at $12. So a $500 invoice, $5, caps at $12. Credit cards, it blends out at about 3%, 3% charge for credit cards. But the advantage of the, you may have a third party you're using for electronic payments, but the beauty is to get the integration inside the application. Like I said, it works with the engagement letters, invoicing statements. You can process internally. So many different ways to use electronic payments in the system with integrations. So you guys can see my screen here, right?
We see it.
Yep.
Okay. Let me go through one feature that I really like in the platform. And it's just basically, the client view. You want to know what's going on with your client. This is a nice 360 view that I can see. I have these engagements. Are they hourly? Are they fixed fee? I can see that easily. I can go to my invoice history. So many things you can do in here. If I want to preview the invoice, I can preview that invoice. Now this is a detail style invoice. If I wanted to change that and edit that and make it a narrative, maybe the client, doesn't, you don't want to change it, resend out the invoice. You could easily come in and make that change, save it. And then when you preview it, it's going to be in a narrative. I can look at the time. So if I want to drill in behind this invoice, it's in orange, it's still sitting in an invoice review that we did today. I can drill in and I can easily see my time associated with that invoice. I can go to the bottom and I can see the write up and the write down. So very, very nice. If clients call, questioning invoicing, you come in here to this client area, you can preview the invoice and look at the time, etc. Client never got the invoice. You could email it again, right from the client view here. Payments, got the whole history here. You can drill down and see how things were applied. Very nice. Here's my WIP. Now, obviously, we have all this in the report center, but you can get all this in the client area as well. I can see the total time invested in this client, $13,200 worth of time, and I can drill in and I can see that time. And you have those reassign features here, update billing rates, etc., all in the client view. Going across, you can set up all your contacts for this client, their IT person, banker, employees at the company, note history, all HTML. A lot of times you're doing tax research. You want to cut and paste articles in from the internet, wherever it might be. You can bring that information in. It's all HTML. Email logs. We showed you this earlier. I can go back to last month or further, where we only bring in 30 days, but the idea here is you can see all the emails that went to your client, whether they opened it, they clicked on it, and any projects. If there's any active projects for this client, we're going to bring them in here. If I want to bring in the completed, boom, I've got all the completed projects for this client. If I want to go into this project, I can just click into it, take me right to that project. We do integrate with Microsoft Outlook and Google Calendar. So what's nice is we're with that integration that are associated with clients. You can now see all your past, present, and future appointments for any person within the firm that had appointments for that client. Very, very nice. So I mentioned budgeting. We do support budgets. It starts at the client engagement level, and it can go all the way down to the project level. So anything down at the client project level will roll up to the client engagement. So very, very nice. I guess, let me see what some other things to cover here. The DMS system, very, very nice tool for, we have eSig built into it. And when I access here, it's bringing up all my clients. But if I want to go back to the client, for example, let's get to the DMS for a specific client. So I can just click this DMS and it's going to go open up their workspace, their folders for me automatically. So it just took me to 2600 Matthews and I have all their documents for their tax engagement right here. You can, set all kinds of different tags and features in here, and you can control what is going to be visible to your clients So if you don't want certain things to be visible to your client, certain documents, you can do that right here. Let me just go ahead and show you what that looks like. This right here is actually, I'm just calling up a document, and you can make public comments here, private notes, and you can collaborate back and forth with notifications to your client. So if I were to put some public comments here, the client will get notified that I've just commented on this document, and they can make comments, and then all the activity associated with this document would be here. And we even allow annotation. So you can even annotate documents, which is a nice feature. What I use the DMS for, obviously clients can upload documents. They can log into that portal. They can upload documents. I like to request documents by email. So we have what we call an Outlook plugin and a Gmail plugin. I can be right in my email to David, send off an email to David. With that plugin, I can request documents, put a link in that email, and when David clicks the link, I can pre-designate what folder I want those documents to go into. So David doesn't have to log into the portal to upload those documents. When he receives that email, he's going to click the link, and the documents will automatically be uploaded to that folder, which is very nice.
So you could, for the clients that like to work in their emails, and you could, instead of sending one email with 100 documents uploaded, you could send them a separate email for every document they need, and then it gets uploaded to where you want it on your platform.
Yep. Like I could send you, David, an email and say, hey, David, please upload your 2024 tax documents. I could pre-designate that I want that to go into the tax engagement 2024. You don't have to log into the portal. In that email, there's a link. You click it. You'll be redirected to a screen. You just drag and drop your documents. I'll get notified by email that you just uploaded those documents. So now I know your documents have been uploaded, and I can actually go fire off that project. That project is started. I could start tracking my time and complete that project and do my invoice. That's the idea.
Hey, Tim, just from a time check standpoint, we do have a couple of questions coming in from the audience.
Sure.
One of them has to do with whether or not, is there a mobile app or is it just browser-based?
We do have a mobile app that allows you to put time records in, expense records. If you're on the go, you're out of the office. You can also look up clients and client telephone numbers. So if you need to make a phone call from your mobile app, you can do that and have all those phone numbers. So it's very limited, but it does allow you to put time records in, expense records. And I think we even have a feature to put to-dos in there. It's like notes, client notes, etc.
So that probably almost answers this other question. Somebody asked, when the internet goes out locally, does the time and project management stuff go offline too? But you're telling me if you have the mobile app, you could still track time even if you lost the internet on your
that's a very, very good question. So when you have a active timer going, and I think this might be the question, if you log out by accident or close your browser tab by accident, if you come back in, your timers will still be there. You will not lose your timers. So that is a very, very good feature that we have in the application, because a lot of people will close their browser tab accidentally. You will not lose that time. So if you have 5 or 6 timers actively running or live, you will not lose those.
Any more questions, David?
I have no more questions. Just had a compliment. I love that the way, if I'm in the middle of doing some work and I can drill down to get an answer and then drill back out and still do the work I was doing, like creating the invoice. I do that all the time in apps. then I have to open another browser, log into the app, navigate, get the information I need, come back to the other tab and do it. It's really nice that how you've built this drill down, drill out, and not leave the work you're doing. I like that.
What's nice, what a lot of people do, they'll actually load up multiple instances of Mango. So I can be in my client area this way and, maybe looking at their time. I could open up a different browser tab and maybe be doing my invoicing. I may come over here, which this is a big item. Maybe I want my billing worksheets loaded up on another screen. So let's take a look and see what that report looks like for the billing worksheets. So maybe I want this, on another screen, and I'm reviewing, the billing worksheet. We're showing the last 5 invoices here. We're showing you the time by engagement. But if I have this on another screen, I could flip, back and forth and see multiple things at one time. So it's very, very nice. So you could have multiple instances of Mango open. A lot of people have their project management tab open. They might have time tracking, this area of the program, their time card on another browser tab. So very, very nice.
Tim, thanks so much for showing us Mango. Anything else you want to share before we go?
No, I think we covered a lot in a short period of time.
How about where folks should go if they want to learn more about Mango or sign up?
So you go to the website. You can schedule a demo. You'll have a one-on-one demo of the program, Q&A. We also have 2 webinars every single week. You're welcome to attend the webinars. They're open. You can ask questions for all of our user base. They frequently come into those webinars that we have every week as well. So best place to do is go out to the website and schedule a demo or find out whatever information you want out here on the product.
Stay tuned for a brief message about how to earn continuing professional education credit for attending today, and we'll see you around soon on a future Earmark Expo. Today's event has ended. To earn CPE, go to earmark.app or scan the QR code on the screen. Then log in or create your free account. Search for the course by tapping on the magnifying glass icon on the home screen and then entering the name of this event. It takes a few days to make the course, so if you're attending this event live, keep an eye out for an email letting you know when the course is available. Pass the quiz to earn your CPE, then tap the button to email yourself a certificate. Stay tuned for more events from Earmark. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you again soon.